Hello, 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 and welcome to day one of the 5-day Lyme recovery blueprint. I'm really excited that you're here, and we're going to break down the 3 biggest struggles that people are having with Lyme disease and systematically go over how we can handle each of these. From pain that makes it feel like you can't get out of bed every morning, joint pain, headaches, nervous system pain, neurological pain, headaches, to fatigue. That's the next one. So many people are just extremely fatigued and tired all the time. If that's you, we've got you. We're going to help rebuild that energy over these 5 days. And finally, number 3 is nerve pain, right? And nerve problems, neuropathy. And that could be a ton of different things, from twitching or burning or weird sensations. Sometimes people get vertigo or heart problems. There's a lot of different things that go into this, and we're going to get deep into all of that throughout these 5 days that we share together. So thank you so much for being here, and let's just jump right into today's slides. So I'm going to take my face off the screen and put some slides in place, and so that we can talk about exactly what's going to happen over the next 5 days and how we're going to help you get through this difficult period in your life. And if you're having a difficult period, I want you to know that you're not alone, that I've been there personally, and that I've helped thousands of other people crawl out of that deep, dark place. So I understand where you are, and I get it, and just keep the hope alive. That's the main message of today. Just know that it is possible to get better. You can take back your body. You can feel like yourself again. You can have that energy. You can get rid of that pain. You can feel good again. Trust me, I've been there, and I want to help you get out of this hard, difficult part of your life. So let's jump right into today. So welcome to the 5-day Lyme recovery blueprint. It is a pleasure to have you here, and I can't wait to show you what we've got in store for you. So what if everything you've ever been told about Lyme recovery is backwards? See, millions of people are suffering not because Lyme can't be healed, but because the system is failing them. The reason you're still stuck is not your fault. You don't have to feel bad or feel ashamed because you're still in this hard position in your life. It's the approach that's been given to you, and you didn't ask for this. Obviously, nobody asked to be bitten by a tick or, come up with this crazy disease that doesn't have a lot of answers. It's not your fault, and it's not your fault that you're not better yet. It's just the approach that you're going through, right? And so here's some common myths that we see all the time. The first one is that antibiotics always work. That's simply not true. Many people relapse or never fully recover even after using antibiotics, and there's many reasons for that. Some of that is due to antibiotic resistance. Some of that is due to antibiotics' effect on the gut microbiome and the immune system. And there's a lot more. We can get deep into that if you have any questions. By the way, I meant to say, if you have any questions, post them in the chat. At the end of this video, I will go over any questions that I see in the chat on YouTube. So feel free to post any questions you might have. I will go over them at the end. And if you're watching the replay, ask any questions you might have. I always read these comments back later, and I can answer them in following videos or in the comments section itself. So ask any questions you have throughout these 5 days. I am here for you to answer any and all questions. So don't hold back. I'm here to help, and let's move on. So the second myth is you just need more rest. Yeah, you're just tired because you need more rest. These people simply don't know what it feels like to have Lyme disease and to have that level of fatigue that doesn't go away when even after loads of rest. I mean, I remember sleeping 18 hours a day. I remember feeling like there wasn't enough sleep in the world that could make me feel normal again. So if you're there, I get it. And this just ignores the root causes like infection load, immune imbalance, toxins, all of the other pieces of the puzzle that come into play when they say, oh, all you need is just a little bit more rest. That is just not true. And finally, the worst of all, it's all in your head. You just have to live with it. This just completely invalidates your human experience. It invalidates your real suffering, and it's not okay. It's not true. It's not all in your head. You are dealing with something, and there's a way out. It's just not going to be from telling you that it's all in your head and you're making it up. Nobody would make this stuff up. That is absolutely crazy. So let me move on here. I see I'm getting a couple questions in chat. Again, I will answer all questions at the end, so I appreciate your patience. But moving on, just real quick, I want you to know who's talking to you right now, because this is the internet. It could be anyone. I want you to feel comfortable knowing that I've been there and I know what's going on. See, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease and I was offered antibiotics just like everybody else. But I actually questioned it from the very beginning. I said, should I be taking antibiotics? See, I'm the type of person that, just first of all, questions everything all the time. I have questions about every possible area of life. But when it comes to health, I always try to lean towards the more natural option. I try to lean towards the things that are, exist in nature and that I feel like are safe in my body. I usually lean away from pharmaceutical drugs and from anything that seems like it could be harsh. And I knew a little bit about antibiotics. I knew that they could kill the gut microbiome and that they could harm helpful bacteria as well as harmful bacteria. So I realized that antibiotics aren't the only path for getting better. So I went on a deep dive, went through all the research, went back to the doctors, and they were either in disbelief or in dismissal. They didn't understand what I was reading, what I was researching, what I was looking at. And this was back in 2016. So there wasn't like AI that I could show the doctors, like ChatGPT or something. It was just me explaining that, look, I read these 4 books and they all say that there's herbal solutions, that there's natural solutions, there's supplements that can help me through this process. And the doctors just simply didn't care or understand what I was saying. They just were like, okay, I'll write it in your notes. And then they just continued on with their day. And as you know, doctors usually only spend 5 to 15 minutes with each patient. So I didn't really get much back from them when I told them this. They pretty much just said, just take the antibiotics, and walked out of the room. So I ended up going the other way. I ended up choosing the natural route. I decided to use herbs and lifestyle and nutrition, and I put my all into that, and I put all of my focus there instead of taking antibiotics, instead of taking pharmaceutical drugs like steroids or even any pain medication or anything like that. I just used herbs, lifestyle, and nutrition because I believe in that system. I believe that my body knows how to heal itself, and I believe that I can get better that way. And what happened was I did get better, and I took back my body. I started feeling like myself again. It took time. It took energy. It took patience. It took a lot. Okay, I'm not going to lie and say it was easy. It took me 12 solid months of intense focus on my health and lifestyle. But since then, I've built a brand called LymeWars.com where we've helped 3,000 plus others fight back against Lyme disease now. And I couldn't be more proud to share that with you and let you know that you're not alone and that there's tons of people going through this exact same path just like you. And it all started with my story where I was able to heal my body using what nature provides all of us. And you don't need fancy drugs or endless hours in waiting rooms or endless medical debt. You don't need any of those terrible, terrible things. And instead you can get the outcomes that you need for your body through all natural methods. Now, I'm not saying this is for that every single person can only use natural methods. I'm just saying there are ways to support your body through this change. There are ways to get through this without using harsh chemicals or drugs every single time. Now, obviously, we're all different. We all have different bodies. We all have different things going on. You might already be on some pharmaceutical drugs that your body needs in order to continue this life. But I'm just saying you don't need to bomb your system with antibiotics in order to get better. So here's a few things that I've learned through this process of helping 3,000 other people, of helping myself get better. Number one, you are not powerless, okay? It's time to stop abdicating responsibility for your health over to a broken medical system, okay? We give our power over every single time we step into a doctor's office and make them tell us what to do with our body. It's your body. You're in control. You have the power. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You're just going through something right now. Your body needs a few things. You need to get things back in order. You need a system. You need your body to start taking things back over and doing what it knows how to do. But you're not broken. And Lyme isn't bigger than you. Okay? This isn't something that's unattainable. This isn't something that people don't come back from. This is something that can be won. You can feel better. It's not going to keep you down forever. You've just got to get a few things right, and your body will start to take over. You'll start to see hope again. You'll start to see that you can get better. As soon as, you get over one symptom or two symptoms, you'll start to see, okay, maybe I can be better. Maybe I can feel like myself again. And then things start to roll and snowball from there. And it's amazing to see this happen to people over and over and over again. And this is a war. That's why we call our company LymeWars.com. Wars are won with strategy, with tools, and with allies. They're not won with one simple, pill that fixes it all. They're not won by redoing the whole thing. It's all about just doing the right things in order, using the right tools, and having the right people on your side. You can come out of this victorious. And there's something that I always like to say is that together we will win this war. Okay? If you're going through this alone, it can be tricky, it can be hard, it can feel lonely, it can feel hard. You just need the right people in your corner. Here's another few things that I've learned. Most people never win because they never make this simple shift. Stop outsourcing your recovery and start leading it yourself. You are in control here. You know your body better than any doctor ever will. No matter how much medical school they went to, they don't know what it feels like to be inside of your body. That's why they can easily look at you and say, it's all in your head. You don't know what you're talking about. They don't know what it's like to be you. You are the only one that knows what it's like to be you. You need to start leading from the front and taking full responsibility for our health. That is the best way through this. That is what worked for me, and it's what's worked for thousands of others that work with us. So my goal is to give you the path out of this situation. I want to give you the step by step and lay it all out so it's super clear, super simple. You know exactly what to do. And if you stick with me for these 5 days, I think you can actually start getting results before these 5 days are even over. That's my goal for you, so that when you come back on day 4, day 5, you're saying, wow, I'm already seeing a difference. I'm already having results. I'm already taking back my body. And that's what it is too. You do need to take back your body. It's not going to be handed to you. It's okay to be upset about where you are with your body right now. I remember being furious. Like, why do I have to go through this? Why is my body doing this? Why do I have to feel like this? And that anger actually got me to move forward quicker. It got me to push and go through the hard steps to take back my body. And I did have to forcefully take back my body. I had to show up every single day and commit to myself. And that doesn't just happen without hitting a point where you feel like you need to show up. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to feel it and to show up every single day. So you can get back to living life, and you can do it your way. And I'm talking about pain eliminated. No more achy joints, stiff knees, nerve pain, neuropathy, headaches. Gone. The pain just gone. No more. Energy to show up, energy to give back, energy to do more, to love more, to live more, right? It's one thing to say, oh, I have energy so I can, walk for an extra mile today. But it's a whole other thing to say, I have energy so I can give back to my community. I can show up for my kids and for my grandkids. I have energy so I can, be there for my loved ones. I can laugh. I can have joy in my life again. That is at the core of what we all want. It's not about looking good or, having a six pack or, like looking a certain way and being healthy. It's about being able to show up day in and day out for the people that you love in your life. And it's about having that spark in your life. If you notice, I named this YouTube channel Health Spark. And that's what this is about. It's that spark. It's that thing in your life that you need more of, that you want more of, that joy, that existence, that energy at the core of your being. It's there. We just need to awaken it. We need to give it life again. And we need to do that by fighting back against Lyme disease and taking back your body. So you can do all of this without endless doctor trips, harsh drugs, or going deep into medical debt. And yes, it's possible to heal your body naturally. I've done it myself, and I've seen thousands of others do exactly the same. People like Michelle. Michelle had Lyme disease for 28 years. She said when she found the website, she started the protocol, and she was suffering daily for 26 years with lingering chronic Lyme infection, neurological problems, musculoskeletal pain. And as a mother and a wife and a business owner, she fought against Lyme, stealing her energy and her zest for life, that spark that I was just talking about, for years. And she said the protocol that we gave her helped her reclaim her health and quality of life. Accompanied by healthy lifestyle choices and good nutrition, she ended up putting the Lyme fire out. She also uses our collagen supplement. And she said a strong immune system that functions properly without the cytokine storm is essential to healing Lyme and achieving remission. Now, if you don't know what that means, that's okay. I can show you what that means. I can explain it all to you throughout these 5 days. That is the goal of this whole thing. But you don't really need to know what it means. What you need to do is take the actions that we show you how to take. The actions are all that matter. You don't need to become a biologist, or you don't need to study nutrition and become a nutritionist like myself. You don't have to go become a medical doctor in order to get better. You just need to do the simple habits consistently that we're going to show you. And Ryan Kearns, that's me. Products have changed my life for the better. I keep bottles at my business. And so the idea here is just that Michelle was sick for 28 years and she was able to get better. So if you've been sick for a long time with Lyme disease, you too can get better just like Michelle. I promise you. We just got to follow the system that we put in place for you. And Judith has a master's in infectious disease. So she was doing a ton of research and she finally got diagnosed. And it says, I had already been doing things to support my immune system, but she stumbled across the Lyme Wars herbs. And within a couple of months of using them, her symptoms had dramatically disappeared or significantly reduced in frequency. Here are some of the symptoms that went away: Morton's neuroma, brain fog, facial palsy, memory issues, fatigue, various peripheral neuropathies, and skin rashes. The herbs also reduced the frequency and severity of her herpes simplex on her lips, and once in a while she gets a brain fog flare, but she learned that the spirochetes cause these flare-ups being that she's has her master's in infectious disease. She knows what she's talking about. She's been there. She understands these microbes at a very, very deep level. And she knows that the herbs and the natural solutions that we provide can get you better. And she's living proof of it. She said, the best part is I am not on antibiotics or steroids, which my doctors wanted me to do. I'm so happy with the results of these natural medicinal herbs. So great job, Judith and Michelle. See, these are just 2 examples, but there are hundreds of more examples just like these 2. So, I don't know how many you want me to show you. I could sit here the whole time just showing you review after review. I'm not going to do that. The point is, people are getting massive results using this system that I'm going to share with you over the next 5 days. And I want you to stay dialed in and stay paying attention to what's going on here, because you can take back your body. You can feel like yourself again. And look, you are a unique individual. We're not all the same. Lyme disease is not Lyme disease is not Lyme disease is a saying that you'll hear in the Lyme community. And what it means is it shows up differently for everybody. We have different symptoms. We have different bodies. We have different things that happen when we take certain supplements. We have different, reactions to those supplements. Our bodies are all going through different things. Although similar in a lot of ways, if we're dealing with similar bacteria, there are a lot of differences. We have different immune systems, and our immune systems have different strengths and weaknesses. And so you are unique, but everyone is different when it comes to health and Lyme. So my point to tell you that is I'm wondering, what's your biggest pain or problem with Lyme? See, I did this poll recently where I asked everybody, what's your biggest pain or struggle with Lyme disease? And they answered. And this was the results. The result was the number one thing people complained about was pain, joint pain, nerve pain, and just general pain, like headaches, anything that was painful. You could see that got 14 of the votes. Secondly was fatigue. And the third biggest one was neurological Lyme. And then finally, emotional and mental health. Like, for example, dealing with a system that tells you it's all in your head, or just, being upset about where you are in your life, or just feeling like, you'll never catch up after going through something like this. And I understand all of those feelings and all of those mental health problems, but over these next 3 days, we are going to tackle these problems. We're going to go into joint pain and pain in general and how we can remove that pain tomorrow. And then the next day, we're going to go into fatigue and how we can rebuild energy from the ground up so that you are feeding your mitochondria everything that it needs, so it creates energy in your body so that you can feel good every day, so you can have energy even in the late afternoons when things normally start to crash. You can take back that energy, you can feel good, and you can have that joy and that spark in your life again. And then finally, we'll talk about the emotional, mental health side of things and the neurological side effects of Lyme disease, and how we can, reduce brain fog, how we can think clearly again, how we can have, a stabilized mood and not be so caught up in the emotions of everyday life, and how we can support our mental health and start to feel good again. So we're going to go deep into all of those. But my question to you is, what's your biggest pain or problem with Lyme disease? Post it in the comments, because that's going to tailor the next 4 days we spend together, because I do want to spend my time helping the people that are watching these videos. If you're watching this, I want you to know that I'm here for you, and I'm creating these things specifically for you. This isn't for me. This isn't for me to, stroke my ego or make myself feel good. This is to help people, and you're one of those people that I want to help. So post in the comments, what's your biggest pain or problem or struggle with Lyme disease right now? And I will focus more time, more energy on those problems. So like I said, we already did this very large poll where I asked thousands of people to fill this out, and these are the results that we got. But I still want to hear from you specifically. If you're watching this video, maybe you already answered the poll, but I do want to know, what is your biggest pain or problem or struggle with Lyme disease? Drop it below. Let's stay in touch and let's work through this together. And tomorrow, I'm going into pain, why pain lingers in Lyme, and how to finally start reducing it so you can, have your life back. I mean, pain really does stop us from doing so much in our life. If we're in pain all day, we won't be able to do half the things that we want to do because we're just trying to make it through the day. And if we can get pain to start to go down, that just gives people so much hope. It gets them to finally start to feel like things are working in their favor and things are finally moving in the right direction. And what happens next is they start to actually have hope. And hope is one of the most powerful things on planet Earth. When you have hope that your future will be better than your present moment, you actually step into a better version of yourself every day, and you're able to show up. You're able to put in the work. You're able to be there consistently for your body, for your health, for your life, and then beyond that, for your loved ones, for the other people in your life. So if you have pain, make sure you show up tomorrow at 12 p.m. And again, every day this week, Monday to Friday, I'm going live at 12 p.m. to go through how you can start to take back your body and feel like yourself again, like I've done and like I've helped thousands of others do. So that's all I have for these slides today. I'm going to get rid of these slides. I'm going to go into some of these questions here. And I will, let me see if I can answer some of these questions, and then we will move on, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. So let's see. I feel like most of my symptoms are from EBV. What should I be taking or doing to help with EBV? Well, that's really interesting because I also had EBV when I had Lyme disease. It's not something that I always talk about and share, simply because it's less known. It's less accessible to most people. Most people don't really know what that is. It's Epstein-Barr virus. And I also had that when I had Lyme disease. So I think a lot of the things that we talk about will be very applicable to you. It's a very similar bacteria, and it's one that can also be fought off using herbs and using the supplements, the herbs, the natural things that we talk about. You also need to support detoxification to make sure you're removing any dead microbes that tend to be lingering or killed off. A lot of times when our body kills microbes, there's toxins floating around in the system that need to be removed out. That's just part of their survival technique to try and not be killed. But so we need to support detoxification. There's lots of things we can do to do that. And, we need to use supplements and herbs that help to support the system and also kill off those microbes so that you can get better from EBV, Lyme disease, and by the way, any of the co-infections, Babesia, Bartonella, Ehrlichia, so much more. So if you have EBV, that's actually really common when it comes to Lyme disease. I also had EBV when I had Lyme disease. This is kind of a common co-infection that a lot of people don't talk about for whatever reason. But I think if you stick around, you'll be surprised. Doing a lot of the stuff that we talk about here, you will be able to support your body to get better. So great question. Thank you for asking. That was Ernest who asked that. Joe said, "You've exceeded my attention span. Too many words, too little info." Well, sorry about that, Joe. Today's only the first day, so over the next 4 days, we're going deep into more detailed information. This today was really to set the stage and get everything ready so we understand what's going on, what we're talking about over the next 5 days, and honestly, to collect some information from you. What are you struggling with? What are you dealing with? How can I support you more? I really do show up to do this so that I can provide as much help, as much support, as much content for you so that you feel like you're supported, because you are, right? I want to show up for you. I don't want to just show up and say words. And so thank you so much for watching, even if it didn't meet your expectations. Maybe over the next 4 days, I'll be able to change that for you. All right, Joe said, why do so few use or talk about pulse treatment? Apparently the originator was Gemsec. When you say pulse treatment, I'm assuming you mean pulsing whether it's herbs or antibiotics, pulsing them. It's a great question. It does actually help a lot. I've noticed, and I've helped people pulse their protocols, and it does seem to help in some way. Probably in the way that, the microbes that we're dealing with here, a lot of them know how to hide or insist or roll up into little balls to protect themselves. And so when we pulse, we kind of give it a break, which causes them not to protect themselves. And then boom, we hit it again, right? So that can actually help to kill more microbes in that sense of the word. It also gives the system a break from constantly needing to work through all of the things that we're taking, whether it's antibiotics or supplements or herbs or whenever we're taking anything, our liver needs to break that down. Our body needs to utilize all of those different compounds and nutrients. And so when we give ourselves that break from by pulsing, it could be very helpful for a lot of people. They don't really realize that their body's struggling, not because they're fighting an infection, but sometimes because they're actually needing to utilize and break down so many different compounds in their body. And it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of, just takes a lot in order to do that. So great question. I don't know about the originator of that, but I'll look into it. And my answer is, why do so few use or talk about it? I'm not sure why. It's a great question. To be honest, so few talk about Lyme disease in general that I'm not surprised that few people talk about pulse treatment as well. But I think there is something to pulse treatment. It's not the only way. It is a good idea though, and it does have its merit based on what I'm seeing when I use it with my clients. It's been very helpful, especially, you got to know when to do it. That's really helpful as well. Some people, if it just plateaus, like if they're just not getting the results anymore, like they might start to feel better, and then they're just like, I don't feel good anymore. I plateaued, or even, my symptoms are coming back. So a lot of times we will say, okay, let's stop using anything. Let's let our body get back to baseline and then restart slowly again. And that usually ends up kicking up some bacteria, and it ends up, helping them get over that hump, get over that plateau. So I think that's what you meant by pulse treatment, but let me know if I'm wrong about that. Happy to discuss more. And then if there's any other questions, I will take them now. If not, I will be signing off for today. And again, tomorrow we are going to drill into pain and all of the pain that can be caused from Lyme disease and co-infections, and what we can do to stop that pain naturally without using pain medications, which are very dangerous and, addictive and frankly destroying America. And instead, how to do it naturally, how to start to remove that pain slowly, naturally, over time, so that we give our body the best possible chance to fight back. Joe said, what about herbal/ABC combos? I guess ABC means antibiotic combos as a diagnostic. Is it common to have HERX 6 months into treatment, or is it expected to occur early on? Everybody's body is different. You can see a HERX reaction at any time, really. It's not really as much of when you started treatment as it is when your body starts to feel overwhelmed with the amount of toxins in your system. So, for example, if you start off with a very hard regimen of antibiotics, let's just say, for this example, and the antibiotics, you're using antibiotics really hard and fast, like a high dose, and you get that big kill off, die off reaction, but you're supporting your detox. You're doing everything in your power, right? You're supporting your liver. You're using supplements that help to support your liver and glutathione and all the types of things that you can do, which we will discuss, to support detoxification. Movement, lemon water in the morning, all these little things add up. If you're doing all of those things, then you might not see any Herx reaction, even though you're doing a very hard, aggressive treatment. But then later on, if you stop doing those things, your body could start to, build up all those toxins, and then you're not removing enough of those toxins, and that's when Herxheimer reactions actually happen. It's got less to do with the aggressiveness of the treatment and more to do with your body's handling of the detoxification process. So that's really the answer to the question. So if 6 months in your detox isn't going well, the toxins are building up in your system, you can then see a Herxheimer reaction at that time. Sometimes it takes 6 months to get really killing off those microbes and really start seeing those toxins build up, because when we kill them off, we have to remove the toxins, the dead bodies basically of these bacteria. And if that's not happening, you will likely see a flare up or a Herx reaction like you're discussing here. So it's not. It's really just not due to the amount of time. You can see Herx reactions really any time during the process, from my experience. And I would also question whether or not you're using herbs or antibiotics for that Herx reaction if you're having a Herx reaction. But again, I would really focus on supporting detoxification, using things like chlorella or activated charcoal as binders to help remove out some of those toxins. Moving the body every single day, even if it's just going for a simple walk. Or rebounding is really good. You can look up rebounding, basically just jumping on a little trampoline, getting the blood moving. All of those things are so helpful for detoxification. I like lemon water in the morning. Really wakes up the liver, gets the liver removing toxins out of the blood, and so much more. There's a lot you can do to support detoxification. Dry brushing can help. Sauna is really helpful for just general getting that blood pumping. And so that's really what I would focus on if I was having a Herx reaction, no matter when it is, or any reaction. Is it possible to get back to a state where you can go to the gym daily? Well, I mean, you're asking somebody like myself who I work out every day. I had Lyme disease back in 2016, and I would say I was probably working out every day again by 2018. So 2 years there of building back up, and trust me, that is the goal. We do want everybody exercising every day. The benefits of exercise far outweigh the benefits of any other drug or supplement or nutrition or anything you could ever do for your health. Exercise is hands down the best thing you can do. Now, obviously, with the caveat of if you're sick, it's very difficult to exercise. So I understand why you're asking the question. And yeah, it's just the whole goal would be to get you back to that place where you feel like you can exercise again 100%, because that is so helpful and meaningful for your health moving forward from there. And yeah, so we do want you to be able to get back to the gym daily, 100%. And yes, it is possible. It is definitely possible because I've done it. I don't actually go to a gym. I like to exercise outside. I like to go for runs and I do a lot of pull-ups and calisthenics, pull-ups, dips, those types of things, squats. But I do also have gym equipment at my house that I like to use for, bench press, squats, all those types of things. So you definitely can get back to that place if you're not there right now. I totally understand why you're asking that question. Because when you're sick, it's difficult to exercise, especially in the same amount, frequency, and intensity as when you're healthy. So you can get back to that state. I know you can do it. It's just going to require really supporting the body and getting the body back to where it was before, which is what this whole 5 days is about. So I'm glad you're here and look forward to trying to help you get there. So great questions. And, I know you said last question, but don't worry about it at all. Ask as many questions as you want. Do you still experience any symptoms or have noticed things that cause flares? Me personally, I have not had any symptoms that I would say are from Lyme disease. I run 12 miles a week. I do over 200 pull-ups a week. I play soccer every Sunday for a full 90-minute match on a big field. So I'm in the best shape of my life. So in that sense, it's hard to say that I have any symptoms or problems really with my health at all. But, it is difficult to say. I've never been the type to say that any type of ache or pain is due to Lyme disease. I've always found some other reason why it exists. If I have a pain in my body, I'll come up with some reason it's there, right? And maybe it's not. Maybe it's from Lyme disease bacteria. It's impossible to know. But I've never attributed it to Lyme disease. I've never said, oh, my knee hurts, it's probably from Lyme disease. I say my knee hurts, maybe it's from soccer, from, running so much, things like that. So I don't know. To be completely honest, it's very difficult to know. The CDC says there's no way to tell if you've been cured of Lyme disease. There's no such thing as a cure for Lyme disease. And that's one thing that makes it so tricky. And there's no testing that can prove that you're cured because you're really testing for a small window of when the bacteria are active, when they cause antibodies to be released by your immune system. And so it's difficult to know if you've been cured, and it's difficult to know if your symptoms are from Lyme disease or from living an active lifestyle. And so that's a great question. I haven't noticed anything specifically for me that causes flares either. And I just haven't had any symptoms. But to be very, very clear, most of my symptoms were related to my heart. My heart rate was dropping. I started fainting, and then I started sleeping like 18 hours a day. And I had EBV and Lyme disease. And it was scary. It was very scary because it was my heart, obviously a very important organ, right? And then later I learned, because I had the rash, I had it in multiple places, which usually points to a disseminated infection. It's a later stage Lyme disease infection that's been disseminated to multiple organ systems, and it can be very dangerous and very difficult to heal from. But I never really attributed any aches or pains to it, so those symptoms weren't really a thing for me. It was really just making sure I protected my heart and healed my heart. And so I put a lot of emphasis on nutrition. And I changed my whole diet and ate a lot of whole plant-based foods, made sure I was moving my body every day, made sure I was doing everything in my power to have a healthy heart and a healthy body. I drank adaptogenic mushrooms, used herbs to kill off microbes and to, repair and rebuild cells. And those herbs, you can see them at limewars.com if you haven't already, just so you know. And yeah, that's my story. So it's a great question. Did you experience any symptoms or notice things that cause flares? Not really. Since I was completely better, which took about 12 months to be clear, right? I spent 12 months staying super focused on my health. where, I would go to a birthday party and not eat any cake. I would go to Christmas, no Christmas cookies, the whole year, right? And then at the end, I started slowly, adding normal life stuff back into my life. No alcohol the whole time. I was very strict with my lifestyle, with my diet, with my habits for that time. And I meditated every day. I did breath work. I did light exercise, nothing crazy, and so much more. I could detail everything. It's in a free ebook that I created that you can grab on our website as well. But after all that, I haven't had any symptoms that I attribute to Lyme disease at all whatsoever. And obviously I was having my heart monitored closely over that time. I went to cardiologists. I got a heart monitor on me for 48 hours. I did all types of tests, and things seemed to be normal by the end of that year. So that was my main concern for me. And then beyond that, the sleeping, the fatigue was very heavy. And by the end of that year, that was pretty much gone as well. So my answer is no symptoms, no flare-ups for me over the past 10 years. So take that for what it's worth. It really changed my life in the sense that of how I view my own health, though. At the time, I wasn't really focused on health at all. And then this landed in my lap, destroyed everything. I hit rock bottom. That's a whole other story. Things were not good in my life in general at that time. And then Lyme disease came on top of it. And then I had to rebuild slowly back up over time. And I haven't had any symptoms ever since. Great questions. So it's been about 45 minutes. I hope I answered all your questions. And if anybody has any other questions, you could also reach out to help@LymeDiseaseWars.com. I'll write that in the chat. And of course, you can go to LymeWars.com if you want to know more about what we do, how we support people, how we help people, and if you want to sign up to get started on some of the herbs that we have, or if you want actual coaching and consistent showing up for you every week, every month, every year to make sure that you take back your body and feel like yourself again. Again, the website is LymeWars.com, and I'll see you there. But again, tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern time, we're going back into this again, but we're going into pain. We're going to talk about pain and how to get better from pain, how to remove pain from your life so you can really start feeling like yourself again. So you can get that hope back, that light in your eyes, and you can start to show up for your loved ones in the way that you want to. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful for your time, for showing up and showing up for yourself. Congratulations. That's a great thing that you're doing. A lot of people right now are not focused on growing, becoming better, or healing their body. So kudos to you for doing that, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.